Any member of the tribes out here? For those Goyim out there, that's a Jewish person. And my name is Melissa Resnick. Resnick, translated from the Russian Jewish, is a ritual religious slaughterer, something about like slaughtering kosher chicken or something, which my grandfather, Resnick, thought was hilarious because I'm a veterinarian and I'm vegan, so I never slaughter anything. Wow, it's bright. So, my name wasn't always Resnick. I spent 12 years at Catholic school as Melissa Peterson. Nice Goyim name. I am the daughter of a Christian woman and an atheist Jew. So for the first 7 years of my life, I lived in blissful ignorance of religion. We celebrated Christmas and I guess Hanukkah, but I didn't know anything about anything. When I was 7, my mom and dad got divorced, and she married a Catholic man who was like really Catholic, like 8 kids in his family, church every Sunday, Catholic. And so she gave us some coloring books and said, all right, color in these Jesus coloring books, you're gonna be Catholic. And my sisters and I colored in all different Creole colors, these Jesus and the apostles, right? It's been a while. And we went to church, and the priest put some water in us, and we became Catholic. And I started a new first grade, a St. Margaret's school. And I loved it. I went to church, and there were these pews, and this wood, and there was incense, and stained glass windows, and everything was so pure and good and great. And the first day of school, we made these little things to hang on our doors that said, like, I am the light of the world. And I was sold. I was like, this is it. But then I realized that everyone else got baptized when they were babies, and everyone had a saint's name. But I was like, don't worry, I'm 7, I am free of sin, I'm gonna be the first Saint Melissa, no problem, I can do this. And so I loved Catholic school, and everyone figured I was Catholic. So they never taught it, but I learned that it wasn't so cool to be a Jew. In fact, it was the worst insult you could ever get in grade school, was to be called a Jew. There was a kid in my class who was a quarter Jewish. He was called Jew boy all through high school. And here I had this huge secret. My dad was Jewish. They could have burned me on the cross before I ever admitted it. And things just got worse as I got older. And I used to doodle in my notebook at school, and sometimes I would draw a triangle, like an upside down triangle, and then an upright one, and it would turn into a Jewish star. And I was like, oh my God, someone's gonna find out, and I would like cross it out. And I also my stepfather was quite the anti-Semitist. So if you teach somebody early enough and long enough, you can learn to hate yourself. So I never, ever told anybody I was Jewish. It was my huge secret. It made me sick about it. Someone was gonna find out one day. And when I was 10, I was standing in line for recess, and I was struck by something in the face. And next thing I knew, I was full of blood, my front tooth was knocked out, and I looked down, and I realized I'd been struck by a penny. And I went to the nurse's office, and what I thought was I was so full of shame, because what the joke in the school was that people would throw pennies around the schoolyard, and if you picked it up, you would be called a Jew. And so my Christian grandmother used to say, like, find a penny, pick it up, all the day you'll have good luck. Fuck that, a penny? I avoided those like the plague. Like, I would never pick up a penny. I mean, what if someone found out I was Jewish and I picked up a penny? So the fact that I was struck by a penny, I thought, does somebody know? Like, does somebody know, figure out I'm Jewish? But if there is a God, he definitely has a sense of humor, because that penny hit probably the only Jew in the entire Catholic school. So I kept it hidden for the rest of my entire 12 years of Catholic school. I had a bunch of Catholic boyfriends, and it was my biggest secret. I truly lived in fear of finding out, which I know, looking back, seems so ridiculous. And I continued to date, I always had Catholic boyfriends. And I even lived in Scotland for a while, and I fell in love with this Irish Catholic from Belfast. Like, you can't get more Catholic than that, right? And when we met, after a night of like drinking and shagging, and he was like, "Oh, I'm Catholic and I go to mass," and I was like, "Oh yeah, me too. Like I love church. I go every Sunday." And so every Sunday we went to mass, and bless me, Father, for I have sinned. It has been 5 years since my last confession. These are my sins. I was only there because I was shagging this cute Irish guy. And I was like, yeah, I'm Catholic, all right. We got engaged. It was so romantic. We ended up not getting married. Is that the red light for me to wrap it up? So we didn't work out, not because of religion, but it just didn't. I ended up marrying a Jewish guy who I met one random night in Philly, and told him my penny story on a nostalgic drunken night. Didn't even plan it. I'd never told anybody. It was this big secret. And we ended up getting married by his rabbi under a huppah, having a couple Jewish kids. I got this. This was like the thing I feared most, was someone finding out that I scribbled a Jewish star. And we had some Jewish kids, and it was like very healing, and it was like, wow, like my daughter doesn't care that she's Jewish. And little girl asked her what religion she was once, and she described her to her friend, and she said, I'm a little bit Jewish and a little bit Christmas. And that pretty much sums it up.